Member Scalise, and I want to thank our witnesses for being here today. I really appreciate the work that you're doing, and you know, when people break the law, they should pay the price for it, especially considering how hurting everyone was during this time. On Friday, the Bureau of Labor Statistics released its latest update on the inflation crisis, which continues to eat away at Americans' wallets. The Consumer Price Index rose 8.6% in May, the highest it's been in 4 decades. Prices are up on everyday goods and services across the board. Rent is up a record 11.3% over the last year. The price of groceries has increased by nearly 12%, the largest increase since Jimmy Carter was president. Gas prices have more than doubled since President Biden took office and launched a crusade against American energy production. On Inauguration Day, gas averaged $2.39 a gallon. Now, for the first time ever, the average price of a gallon of gasoline is over $5. The cause is obvious. It's what happens when the president decides to decrease the volume of flow through our pipelines, suspend new federal oil and gas leases, and stifle producers with costly regulations. Core CPI, which excludes food and energy prices, is at 6%, reflecting that inflationary pressures are straining all sectors of the economy. Overall, the typical family is having to spend around $450 more per month just to buy the same things they would normally have bought a year ago. Real wages are falling in a way that we haven't seen in 40 years. And this isn't surprising. As much as President Biden tries to pin the blame on everything but his own policies, his administration has shown more willingness to negotiate with Iran and Venezuela than our own domestic oil producers. Speaker Pelosi and President Biden's wasteful and completely partisan $2 trillion stimulus package supercharged inflation, pumping vast sums of federal spending into the economy and requiring more borrowing and money printing. At the time, many warned that this sort of stimulus would come with a heavy price. Now, even the liberal website Vox ran a piece last month acknowledging that, and I quote, "The Biden stimulus made the U.S. inflation problem even more severe," end quote. The Biden stimulus was the turning point that marked the beginning of the inflation crisis, which is making it much more difficult for Americans to save and make ends meet. And a key part of that was the reckless extension of federal unemployment benefits, where many people got paid more to stay at home than to return to work. Now we know that a significant amount of the unemployment money was subject to massive fraud, with the Department of Labor's Inspector General estimating that at a minimum, $163 billion worth of unemployment spending could be attributed to fraud or improper payments out of the estimated $872 billion that was spent out of pandemic unemployment programs. We're talking about an improper payment rate approaching 20%. With hundreds of billions of taxpayer dollars flushed down the drain, most of it gone forever. Hopefully not. Agent Dotson, my first question's to you. In the course of your investigations, have you seen that a significant amount of the fraud, is committed by transnational or criminal organizations? And if so, do you mind detailing a little bit about that?
Well, Mr. Congressman, thank you for your question. There's no doubt that transnational and domestic organized crime groups committed fraud in this during this pandemic benefit programs and across the board. And we look at these investigations. Not to get back to like Michigan, but nobody has to. You don't have to be a citizen of Michigan to apply for Michigan unemployment assistance. So anybody anywhere can apply and took that opportunity. We have several ongoing investigations that I can't speak to today.
Sure.
That do involve transnational organized groups. I can highlight one case that dealt with a West African organized crime group that we have dealt with for years, basically, that commit all types of cyber crime, including ransomwares and business email compromise. And of course, this was a crime of opportunity. So they took that opportunity. They committed pandemic fraud, but they have been arrested and they are currently being prosecuted. And that's kind of the Black Axe group out of Western Africa. So
excellent.
We've had some success, and we will continue to look, no matter where they are. I mean, we are able to go worldwide, not only here at the Secret Service, but with our partners. We will turn over every stone, and we will go after if it's an organized group or if it's somebody that's committed substantial fraud.
I will take the grace you've given me, Mr. Chairman, and ask one last question. If you had to predict the amount domestic versus transnational, what would be your predictions? Any one of you on the fraud? You think it's mostly domestic? Is it mostly foreign? Is it is there an even mix? What's the rough guess?
Well, Congressman, I can say that at this time, we're still, as my distinguished colleagues here said, still trying to ascertain the amount of fraud that's occurred and who has committed that. To give those numbers wouldn't be proper at this time.
Fair enough.
I would say that it's a combination.
Well, again, let me reiterate my thanks to the hard work that you're doing to try to dig that out. Thank you. Did you want to say something, sir?
I would ask, are you asking in terms of volume
Yes,
or
numbers.
amount of money?
Amount of money, actually. Yeah.
We have my office, SBA's Office of Inspector General, has a report that will be out shortly, within probably the next 30 days or so, that speaks to this. We have a report coming out on foreign IP addresses that will tell a good part of the story of what happened.
Excellent. Thank you.
Very good.
And
Thank you
if
very
I could
much.
just add, because it relates to the legislation the House passed that the chairman mentioned, that the House passed last week, the bipartisan legislation to extend statute of limitations. The challenge at this point of estimating it is finding domestic fraud is a lot easier early on than finding the overseas fraud.
Sure.
Right? We have to go through not only all of the resource issues that come with figuring out what happened from overseas, but also from an investigative standpoint, you need approval to go get the information from overseas. And it highlights the importance of having more than the 5 years that the statute of limitations currently is. The statute of limitations that the House passed that would extend for PPP and EIDL fraud to 10 years, lining it up with bank fraud, which Congress passed back when the S&L crisis hit 40 years ago or so, for good reason back then. It needs to happen now. Hopefully the Senate will pass it, and appreciate the House doing so already.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you. Thanks to this immediate pass action and the work with Dr. Green and Mr. Foster, the subcommittee has operated in a bipartisan way to effectuate those kinds of results. So thank you. You thought I wasn't watching, but I've been watching. Thank you, guys. Now, we're going to go a little bit out of order because of the schedule of one of our members, and with the acquiescence of Ms. Maloney, the chair will now recognize Mr. Krishnamurthy for 5 minutes.
Thank you so much.